do people like this car? Because honestly, I don't know. Is there a community? Every time we post a video, that community of people shows up and starts glazing it, telling us that we're crazy. Does that exist for this car? Like, I don't even know. Hey everyone, welcome back to Gear Glazzers. I'm Kyle, and this is Mike, aka DJ Mikey McGiggles. And today we're continuing our series on Trail Titans, and we're talking about none other than the Land Rover Defender. The UK's pride and joy. Mike, talk to me.
Is that what it's called? Is that the moniker for it?
I made that up. I don't know.
Nah, they should use that. We should charge them for that. You know, it's really interesting. Which one are we looking at? I know this one comes in 3 different lengths.
Yeah,
which is a strange thing for an SUV.
I don't know. I think this is the 110.
This is the 110. That's the most common one.
I think it's the 110. Yeah.
Yeah, it always throws me off when I see the 90 in person.
That's just
it like turns and it like stops abruptly.
I don't like the small wheelbase versions of these cars.
Even
Land
on the
Rovers,
Jeep, I never
Broncos,
liked the 2-door Jeep either.
I never
That's
liked
a hot
it.
take. People love those things.
Yeah. So let's just talk about where we are. Again, in the Trail Titan series, we're trying to get outside of the track and put these things in their natural habitat. This thing really is fording rivers.
Oh, yeah.
It really is out here doing this in the jungle. Like, this thing's handling that no problem.
This thing is built colonizer ready. You look like you're about to go colonize somebody right now.
No. I might. But it's true, though. Like, they did Top Gear did a video of this, and this thing's, like, they take it to Africa, and you're like, something about this just doesn't sit right with me. I've seen this one before.
Yeah, it's the remix.
Yeah, but in this, like, on this map, it looks awesome. It looks like it belongs here. But if you see this thing on the road, see this thing in, like, some normal footage, it looks like it belongs in Whole Foods.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, this thing, while it looks very at home, like off-road and you know, climbing over river rocks, it, in reality, is more at home climbing over parking stops at the grocery store.
Oh, bars? Okay. Yeah, and I think that it does look like that, but I wanted to say, in defense of this, no pun intended, in defense of this car, the Defender has been around for 68 years, and is literally the UK version of the Jeep Wrangler. Like, if you go back 68 years ago and you see, like, the Jeep Willy, like that first OG Jeep that looks like it would break your spine in half anytime it hit a bump, they have a Land Rover version of that. The UK needed a car like that, and literally that's where the Land Rover Defender lineage comes from. And so, like, you're wondering, like, why is this car in the Trail Titans series? Like, why are we talking about this car at all, honestly? It's really soccer mom car, and it's because of the lineage. And, like, we're here to discuss if the looks aside, this thing fits in.
Yeah. So, I'll give you my take right off rip.
Okay.
I think this thing sits in a really strange middle ground. I think it sits in a middle ground between, you know, luxury, rugged SUVs, so much of what we think of when we think of mom cars, and just like maniacal off-road monsters like a Jeep Wrangler, where it's just like everything else to the wind. We're taking this thing climbing over whatever we need to climb over. And this thing is kind of weirdly smack dab in the middle, and it doesn't really communicate it that well with the marketing, but that's kind of where it is as far as like pricing, performance, and off-roading capability. And I spent so much time feeling weird about that. Like, you look at something that doesn't really seem like it has like a normal place in the modern car lineup, and you're like, huh. So kind of look sideways at it.
So you're right, and it's crazy. I can't believe I'm saying this, dude, but this is the most off-roady car in Land Rover's lineup right now.
Right.
Like, this is the most aggressive thing they've got, which is kind of insane. And I wanted to touch on really quickly what you're saying. What you're saying is not a problem with the Defender. What you're saying is a problem with Land Rover, period.
Right.
Like, do people like this car? Because, honestly, I don't know. Is there a community? Every time we post a video, that community of people shows up and starts glazing it, telling us that we're crazy. Does that exist for this car? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah. I doubt it, man. I really doubt it, because it doesn't seem like a car that's been marketed to enthusiasts. It seems, weirdly enough, like Land Rover has focused on the luxury market, and that they're using this as the, like, entry-level luxury SUV for them, which is kind of like a slap in the face to that lineage you were talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, again, you chase the money.
Yeah.
Like, and if their customers want this thing, to sit in parking lots, then like you got to dumb it down a little bit.
That's the truth of what Land Rovers are, at least in America in the modern day. I mean, they've kind of like left that whole safari thing behind.
It's true.
Maybe for the best. Maybe we shouldn't allow European people to safari across, uncharted lands anymore.
Oh no, they're on timeout for at least a couple hundred years.
Facts.
So I wanted to bring up, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember when we were like 16 years old and we went to that Land Rover event?
Yeah.
And they let us drive like one of the Land Rovers on like an off-road course?
That like off-road course that was weirdly close to your house for whatever reason?
Yeah. It was like a construction site that they converted to like an off-road course. And Michael and I must have been 16 years old. There might be a picture of that we could throw up. We'll look for it.
Yeah.
But they let us drive this thing. Like, just got our license, and we're like literally 45-degree angle. We're like, oh my god!
Didn't you rip the bumper off one of them?
I did, yeah. I came off of a hill way too fast, and the salesman hopped out. I don't know if you remember this. He's like, "Oh, that pops right back in." Poop, and popped it right back. We're like, "What's going on here?" Like,
no, that whole experience was mad weird.
It was very weird. But hey, shout out to Land Rover for letting us drive that.
Yeah,
thing.
that was cool.
So another fun fact about this car. I don't know if you saw this. This car is turbocharged, supercharged, and hybridized.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that and I was like I literally heard it and I was like, okay, that's not true. And then I heard it again and I was like, what?
And Land Rover has some strange terminology for their hybrid system. They call it a mild hybrid.
Yeah,
Do you know? Yeah, what is that?
I've heard that. I don't know too much about it, but from what I understand, like you're just trying to make the car more smooth. Is really what you're trying to do. You're trying to make up for some of that. I'm just I'm just taking this thing clear off a cliff here.
Oh god.
There's the bumper.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was recreating.
Exactly what happened.
It's exactly what happened. I was recreating our experience.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's a weird powertrain. I personally never heard of that.
Yeah, and I mean, given the history of British cars, I don't know if I can condone adding complexity to their engines.
They're not very reliable.
Yeah, so that doesn't seem like the smartest thing in the world. Yeah, I don't know how to find too much about the reliability of this car because it's just not driven by too many people.
Well, I think it is driven by a lot of people. I just don't think those people are in forums.
Right.
They're picking up the kids from soccer practice.
Yeah, they're just like, let me get that one.
Exactly. I do love the green this thing comes in. It's very similar to the cacti green I got in the Z. It is gorgeous. And I think the design of this car is just insane. We'll get to that, obviously, but like the back, the rear taillights, like,
yeah,
it's awesome. And one thing you have to say about Land Rovers, which is, again, is like why they're in this discussion, they are actual capable cars.
Yeah.
Like, you will go to Australia, you will go to Africa, and you will see these things running. Like, but people, like, clown this thing. Like, people don't let this in the discussion with Jeeps and, like, the vehicles that we're familiar with, but, like, it kind of deserves to. This thing will wade through river, like, easily.
I bet that's an American thing. I bet that's just American pride wanting to support, like, American historic companies. And I bet the same thing happens in Britain, where they're just gonna glaze this thing and say that the Jeep is for, savages.
I mean, it is. It is for savages.
Yeah, I'll touch on that later.
Fording through this river, pulling up on some Mayan ruins. When I did this in the British car, I was like, oh no.
Oh, he's going to steal some artifacts.
I was like, oh no. They're not going to declare independence for 400 years.
Oh man. Those bricks there are going to end up in the Louvre.
Oh, I'm just desecrating the sacred grounds. I felt that this was fitting.
Yeah.
I felt that this was fitting.
Just completely rock crawl up the like deteriorated steps, rip apart the entire pyramid.
Get out, take a picture for the gram. There you go.
Kill a tiger.
Literally, dude. This is definitely Poacher's favorite car.
Oh, dude.
Hands down. Poachers love Land Rovers.
G-Wagon.
Ooh, poachers do love G-Wagons. That's tough. Let me know in the comments.
What's the best poacher car?
What's the W poacher vehicle?
That's hilarious.
Okay.
All right. Let's jump into our segment. Glaze this, not that. Presented by Deutsche Bank. Faithfully serving trust fund beneficiaries for over 150 years. Deutsche
Let's
Bank.
Go, Deutsche.
Okay. So I talked about how this car is like a strange middle ground, kind of between like off-roading SUVs and luxury rugged mom cars, and how Land Rover kind of like tried to bring their dignified luxury persona into like an entry-level thing, and how that doesn't really align with the off-roading history like of this car. So I think there's room to get something a little bit more specific for what you want. I think if you truthfully don't ever plan on taking this thing off the pavement, then for the same exact MSRP as the V8 model of this, you can get a Rivian R1S.
Okay.
I don't recommend taking a Rivian R1S through a Safari, but again, if you're literally grocery getting and you want something comfortable and you want something with that classic styling that is retro futurist in the similar way that this is, Rivian kills that.
Okay, so I don't think that's a bad argument. I got nothing. Honestly, I got nothing. Like, there's no... it's tough to defend this car against pretty much anything in its class.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. I don't know, man. You don't want to charge it?
Yeah, like, you know, sure.
If you don't want to charge it, you take this thing?
I guess. If you really like British cars or whatever. So next up, if really what you care about is value and capability, and you care a little bit less about the badge, you care maybe a tad bit less about the luxury, but you still want all of that capability, the new Toyota Land Cruiser. Insane. It's disappointingly a 4-cylinder, but again, great gas mileage. It's going to be that 4-cylinder hybrid. It's going to give you that Toyota reliability. It's going to come in a little more than half the price of this thing. What
if I want it to be British, though? And I want to say cheerio when I drive it down the street.
Yeah. You get cheerio points in this thing. That's got to be worth something.
It's got to be. Air suspension? Does that car have air suspension?
I'm not sure. It probably has a more traditional suspension. Air suspension's pretty good. No, this thing's gonna be more capable than the Land Rover for sure. But if value is really in the question, I doubt there would be many scenarios where capability would come into play between that car and this car.
This is a tough segment for this car, man, because like there's just so many cars that are better than this.
Yeah. In
so many different ways. What's the price on that thing?
An equipped Toyota Land Cruiser is going to come in at $61,000. So you're knocking off what? I mean, if you get the Land Rover Defender 110 V8, you're looking at $111,000. I mean,
no, that's an absurd trim though.
Yeah.
You don't need that trim at all. You could just get this car in the i4 or the V6 and be fine. Like.
And what's the MSRP on the entry level one of these?
The P300, which is the base, is $54,000. The P400, which is the one we're in right now, $70,000.
$70,000. Okay, so it's a little bit more equivalent. I would say compared to those things, like the Land Rover or the Land Cruiser, really probably comes into play like more capable. Which is tough, but again, we're in a British car. Value is not the question.
I think 100% agree with that.
If you do want value, that's what you do. And as the last part of this segment, if you can't stomach an EV or a 4-cylinder hybrid, and your gut response to feeling insecurity is to make yourself the loudest person in the room, you can get a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392.
I love that car so much. How many horsepower does that thing have?
470 and 470 torque.
That car is just 470 torque
out of a 6.4 liter V8.
Let's go, boys.
So, if you're just absolutely insane, 92 grand.
It's a lot of money, though.
It is. But if you want a competitor to this and you happen to be mentally unstable, the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
I'm taking a TRX over both of those any day of the week, though.
Oh, yeah. Thing's a monster.
100%. It's just cheaper. It's, what, 83? Yeah. I think it was?
Well, 83, is that with the top engine trim?
I don't know if the TRX comes with another engine.
I think it comes with their 6-cylinder turbo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think the TRX might be up closer to 100 bands with the V8 that we want.
Alright guys, so we had to go get the showroom footage for the second half of this video. So we're back, picking up right where we left off. Land Rover Defender. Here we go. So, Mike, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my segment.
Alright.
So, my segment today is sponsored by Patagonia. For the adventurer who hears bouldering and pictures an indoor rock climbing gym.
Patagonia.
That's it. That's what this car is for. Okay, so the first question I have for you today is, if the Defender was an animal, what animal would it be?
Ooh. Water buffalo. I'm getting big water buffalo
That
vibes.
is just the most perfect. That is what this animal is. This animal is a water buffalo for sure. I don't have any other answer to that question. Case closed, move on. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if it's bloated per se, but like, water buffalo just never jumps off the page when I think about animals. I never will ever think of that one first, and that's what this car is.
It's a deep cut animal, but like, yeah, I think the use case for this thing is literally just like crossing rivers to like get through, you know, some steep terrain, but actually not anything requiring too much athleticism.
Yeah. Agreed.
And a water buffalo is kind of like it's a regal guy. He's got that nice like brow kind of going on. I feel like a water buffalo. He's a sophisticated boy.
Regal.
Yeah.
So, dude, like, I actually kind of like the interior of this thing, and it's like simple, but like rugged.
Yeah, you
like,
hear that door close?
Yeah. Like Tesla rugged. It's sick. For some reason, like, look at that. It's got like wood grain.
Yeah, dude, like, I'm not gonna lie, like,
I like this thing.
the whole luxury rugged thing is kind of pandery to me, but genuinely I like it. Like,
Yeah.
It sucks that I like it, but it works.
Yeah. I don't know why, when they start this car up, they always rev it to like 7,000 RPMs on startup.
Don't do that in a British car.
Don't do that. But no, the screens are nice. The dash is nice. Like, the AC controls are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this thing is cool.
Yeah, sure. Your 12-year-old there has a nice knob to set their passenger seat temperature.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Next question. When you picture the driver of this car, who are they?
Oh, dude. I'm getting blonde hair. I'm getting sunglasses.
Sexist.
I'm getting...
Love it. Amazing.
I didn't say a
Great.
sex.
Fell right into my trap.
I didn't say a sex. I said blonde hair, sunglasses. That could be anybody. That could literally be anybody.
Okay, who is it?
She has an Orange Theory fitness subscription.
Okay, see, you almost reverse trap carded me and ended my whole career right there. But I'm happy that you specified.
Yeah, no. This is big Orange Theory fitness parking lot vibes.
For
This
sure.
is big.
For sure.
You know, I want to say Whole Foods, but I want to take it one step up. What's that incredibly expensive grocery store in Chicago?
I have no idea.
Hold on.
I have no idea.
Erewhon. Have you heard of Erewhon,
I
where it's like
have.
literally $8 for a
I have,
bottle of water?
I have heard of
Yeah,
that.
this is an Erewhon parking lot monster.
That is actually hilarious. The thing's got some space in it. Like, it's cool. It's cool.
No, yeah. I mean, I love the rear-mounted spare tire. I love that the
Yeah.
whole like back door swings out like
Dude,
that.
I love those lights in the back. Like, those things are so cool.
Retro futurism, bro. It's,
Yes.
I nerd out so much on design like that. And
They
this
did
does a
really
great
well
job
here,
of
though.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Would you take this car over a base Jeep Wrangler Sport?
Why is that a hard question? Why is that even a hard question at all? What's the price differential there?
We don't care about that right now.
Oh my god, dude.
Answer the question.
That's the problem here. The main problem with this car, and I don't hate this car.
Price aside.
The problem with it is that that's a close equation. I think I still take it just because I would be disgusted with myself if I didn't.
You take which one?
With the Defender. But
I'm taking the Wrangler.
dude, that
I'm taking the Wrangler.
I don't even blame you, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm taking a Wrangler like $30,000 or whatever that thing is over this at like 60 grand. Like,
Oh, that's nuts.
I know, but like,
I will say a Wrangler has a great aftermarket. I mean,
Mhm.
it's probably gonna have like a lot more reliability to it. What engine's coming in the base model Wrangler these days?
is it not the Penstar still? Has been that? Like,
Is it
forever?
the 6-cylinder Pentastar? They're not doing a 4-cylinder yet?
I don't know actually.
Let's see. Yeah, it's still the 3.6 liter Pentastar.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Those things have been in the Wrangler forever. I had one of the Wranglers with that thing in it, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking a Wrangler over this thing, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know it was gonna be a good question because I was like, I'm gonna trap him here. He's gonna say Land Rover, and then I get to make fun of him for drinking soy.
Oh, this is a soy latte car for
Yeah,
sure.
for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Like I'm too poor to know like what place that you're gonna go to in this car other than a Starbucks, because this is like one step above that.
Yeah. Agreed.
This is even more bougie than a Starbucks.
Okay, so it came pretty quickly on this car, but the Glaze score. Let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
So first things first, performance. What do you got?
This thing has a lot of engine options, but if we're dealing with the mid-tier engine, not the base model 4-cylinder here,
Yes.
I give that a 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. This thing is not a performance car.
Yeah, I gave it a 5, and my extra point was just because I'm taking into account its ability off-road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is capable off-road, and so I think it's about average.
Yeah.
I think performance is about average, nothing special. Okay, design. What do you got?
Design, 8. I love it. Like, I think they actually killed the interior and the exterior design. Again, retrofuturism and then rugged luxury, just two things that I think come together really well in this car that I just like personally.
I gave it a 6, which I just don't love it as much as you do. But, I mean, it's hard to deny, like, this thing is obviously beautiful. It's very nice, but, like, I'm in a truck, man. I want this thing to look like a TRX. I want this thing to look like an F-150 Raptor.
Yeah.
I want this thing to look like a Bronco R. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree. I think it's a more subtle option, and I think it carries that subtlety very well, while still, like, you know, expressing luxury.
Okay. Value. What do you got for this thing?
4. It's just...
I got a 4.
Yeah, it's just expensive for what it is, but, you know, it's a British car, it's a luxury car, what are you going to do?
It does some things good, but it's just so expensive for that. Like, this is just a statement. You just literally buy this so your friends at Orange Theory are like, oh, okay, they're doing well.
Yeah, right.
Like,
No, I actually don't think Jeeps are allowed to go into Orange Theory fitness parking lots.
Maybe not. Okay, perception. What do you got?
Perception, I think it differs. I think some people are going to like this car, some people aren't. It's hard to say, like, what the average person is going to think, genuinely. It's a really strange car, and it sits in a strange middle ground. For me, personally, I think it's an 8.
Whoa, holy crap.
I think it says a lot of really cool things about you, and I think it shows, like, a certain amount of wealth.
Dude, I put it a 5.
Really?
Dude, I thought this thing was, like, average level perception. Like, people are like, okay, it's nice. It's a Land Rover. Like, okay, maybe you get a 6 for that. Maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, an 8?
Yeah, dude. I think it's a really, really interesting
You think this
car.
thing has more prestige than an F-150 Raptor?
Yeah, sure. It's not an F-150. Like...
No, I think an F-150 Raptor has more prestige than this.
That's crazy,
Straight
because
up.
this is... Like, you're not going to see these very often. When you do, they stand out because of the styling. It comes from a high luxury brand. Like, dude, I think it has all the makings of, like, a really, really solid, like... You know, car if you care about that.
Yeah, but you can tell that an F-150 Raptor is sick. It's a dope car. Like, people know that it's special.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to think that you think this thing carries more clout than an F-150 Raptor to the average person is crazy.
Dude, I definitely do. That's
crazy.
Numbers aside, I can be flexible on numbers, but if you put those two cars next to each other, I think people are always going to assume that this one's nicer.
Okay. Do you think this thing has more... This thing has a higher or lower perception score, so like clout to the average person, than the Ram TRX?
I would imagine the Ram TRX is right next to the F-150 Raptor. Why would I put it anywhere else?
Do you think this thing has more or less prestige than a top-level trim Bronco R?
Again, it's a Ford, dude. And a Bronco's getting up there. I actually put a Bronco above the Raptor because I think people perceive SUVs as being higher luxury. But I put this above that, dude. I think this is just a more luxurious Bronco.
Dude, this thing's a grocery getter.
To you and me, yeah, but I think the average person.
Everyone's got to recognize this is a soccer mom car. Everyone has to know that.
I don't know, man.
The OG Defender, look that thing up. It's incredible. Purpose built. This thing, it's at Whole Foods, dude. We talked about it.
And with every car, it's a shame because we have to exclude the enthusiast perception. Like, you know what I mean? Because enthusiasts are going to always have some crazy reason that they like or don't like a car.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a normal person, and I think a normal person's loving this thing.
Dude, if that's normal, I don't want to be normal.
I agree, dude.
Straight up. But yeah, so with that said, That's the Land Rover Defender. Crazy. Like the UK's best attempt at off-road, a legendary vehicle, and here's it reincarnated.
Yeah.
I don't know if it lives up, but this thing's gonna haul lots of groceries, and someone's gonna be really happy doing it. So
yeah, this thing was hard to place. Like I honestly want you guys to let us know like what you think about this car. We love the opinions, we love the takes. So send those our way, especially in the comments or DMs.
Yeah, I'm definitely we're gonna get blown up on Instagram for liking this. That's 100% coming.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching, guys.